It was just after sunset when Olivia Braxton guided her black SUV onto the quiet, winding road that led to her home on the outskirts of Riverbend County. A long day had finally come to an end. As the director of the Westfield Regional Bureau, a major division of the FBI, Olivia had spent the last 12 hours in back-to-back meetings, some of them involving high-level intelligence briefings. She looked forward to nothing more than a quiet dinner, a glass of red wine, and finally curling up with the novel she hadn't touched in weeks. The road was still, bathed in the last golden light of dusk. Olivia's mind had already begun to drift into what she might cook for dinner when she caught the flashing red and blue lights in her rearview mirror. Her eyebrows knitted in confusion. She hadn't been speeding. Her turn signals were used properly, her seatbelt securely fastened. Still, the lights behind her demanded obedience. She pulled over calmly, placing the car in park and flipping on the cabin light, a protocol drilled into her out of necessity, not fear. As a black woman in a position of power, Olivia knew all too well that respectability did not always translate to safety. She rested both hands visibly on the steering wheel and took a steady breath. A tall white officer approached her window, flashlight already drawn. His walk was stiff, almost performative. When he reached the driver's side, he tapped the window with the edge of his flashlight. Olivia rolled it down halfway, her tone cool and professional. "Good evening, officer. Is there a problem?" The officer didn't answer at first. His badge read T. Maddox. His expression was unreadable but carried the undercurrent of suspicion. "License and registration." Olivia kept her voice even. "Could you please tell me why I've been stopped?" Maddox shrugged. "You looked suspicious." "I'm just doing my job." "Suspicious?" Olivia raised an eyebrow. "Is there something specific that made you think I was a threat?" "That's none of your concern," he snapped. "Just hand over the documents." Olivia reached into the glove compartment slowly and pulled out her registration, then retrieved her license from her wallet. But she didn't hand them over just yet. "Officer Maddox, with all due respect, I know my rights. You are required to provide a valid reason for initiating a stop. Simply saying I looked suspicious isn't grounds." His face twisted in annoyance. "You're not in a courtroom. Don't act like some law professor. This is real life. And in real life, when a cop tells you to do something, you do it." The tension in the air grew sharp. Olivia kept her composure, her voice still low but firm. "I'm not refusing. I'm simply asking you to follow protocol. That's not an unreasonable request." Suddenly, Maddox slammed his hand against the doorframe, causing Olivia to flinch despite herself. "You think you're better than me? That's the problem with people like you. You think the rules don't apply." "I'm not trying to be difficult," she replied. "I just want this handled properly." Her calm only seemed to fuel his rage. "You got something to hide? Weapons? Drugs? You know, people like you usually do." That last line twisted something deep inside her chest. She had been in law enforcement long enough to spot not just bias, but open contempt. "No, officer." And that's an offensive assumption. "I don't care if it's offensive," he growled. "Step out of the vehicle. Now." "I don't feel safe doing that without a lawful reason," Olivia said, her hand still on the wheel. "Get out of the car." His hand hovered near his holster. Olivia's breath slowed. "I'm recording this interaction. For my safety and yours." "You think I'm scared of your phone?" he sneered. When she didn't move, he drew his weapon. The world slowed down. Olivia didn't flinch. Her eyes met his through the glass. "You are pointing a firearm at a federal officer without cause," she said, her voice quiet, almost haunting in its clarity. "You are abusing your authority, and you will answer for this." Maddox didn't budge. "I don't care if you're the Queen of England. I give the orders out here." In the stillness, Olivia reached slowly for her dashboard-mounted phone, making sure her every movement was deliberate and visible. "I'm calling your superior." "You're not making any calls," Maddox snapped. But Olivia had already tapped the emergency contact she had memorized long ago. "This is Olivia Braxton," she said calmly, "Director of the Westfield FBI Bureau. I am currently being held at gunpoint by Officer T. Maddox of the Riverbend County Sheriff's Department. No cause for the stop has been given. I need immediate intervention." She hung up and met Maddox's stunned gaze. "You just made a serious mistake," she said. The standoff continued for another agonizing minute until the wail of another siren drew closer. A second patrol vehicle arrived and parked behind Maddox's. The door opened, and out stepped Sheriff Royce Chandler, a tall, grizzled man with a thick jaw and a long memory. "Put the gun down, Maddox." Chandler barked before he even reached the car. Maddox froze. "I said put it down. Are you out of your mind?" The younger officer slowly holstered the weapon, his hands shaking slightly now. Olivia lowered her window the rest of the way. "Thank you for coming, Sheriff." Chandler recognized her immediately. "Director Braxton, I apologize for this. I had no idea." "Neither did he," she said quietly. Chandler turned to his subordinate. "You just drew a firearm on the director of the FBI. Do you realize what kind of legal and political firestorm you've just unleashed?" She refused to comply. Maddox muttered, his voice stripped of confidence. "She asked for your reason for stopping her, didn't she?" "Yeah, but that's her right." Chandler exploded. "Do you think this badge gives you license to harass citizens at gunpoint?" Olivia stepped out of the SUV now, calm and composed. "I have everything on video, including the threats, the racial slurs, and the moment he drew his weapon. This is not going away quietly." "I understand," Chandler said, then turned to Maddox. "Hand me your badge and service weapon. You're suspended effective immediately pending investigation." Maddox looked like he wanted to argue, but didn't. He handed them over, his face ashen. Two deputies escorted him to the second car. Olivia stood watching, not with triumph, but a quiet sadness. This was the system she had spent her life defending, yet even she could not shield herself from its fractures. That night, she didn't go home. She went straight to the bureau and submitted her report. By morning, the Internal Affairs Department was already coordinating with the DOJ's Civil Rights Division. Media caught wind. Public reaction was immediate. The next 72 hours unfolded with the precision of a political storm. Sheriff Chandler held a press conference publicly apologizing for the incident. Olivia, standing beside him, addressed the press. "This isn't about titles. It's about accountability. I was treated like a suspect for doing nothing wrong. Imagine how many people who don't have my title or platform go through this daily and are never believed." The footage from her dashboard camera went viral. By week's end, the Riverbend County Board of Supervisors convened an emergency session on police conduct. Civil rights leaders praised Olivia for her poise. Lawmakers began debating stricter protocols for officer discretion. 2 months later, Olivia testified in the criminal trial of Terrence Maddox. The courtroom was packed. Maddox, represented by a private attorney, tried to argue stress, confusion, even protocol. But the video footage was irrefutable. He was found guilty on multiple counts: unlawful use of force, racial profiling, and endangerment. Sentenced to 4 years. Outside the courthouse, a reporter asked Olivia if she felt justice had been done. She didn't hesitate. "It's a start. But the system doesn't change just because one man is held accountable. Change comes when no one feels afraid during a routine stop. And we're not there yet." Olivia returned to work the next day. But nothing would ever be quite the same. She had become more than a director. She had become a voice. And the country had heard it.